It's Henry!
Hey, how you doing? So I was just driving my wife to the train station, and then I was leaving my area, and about like 3 or 4 houses away from my friend Jason, you know, of Pate's Performance. Yeah, just at the corner of my eye, I looked out the window, and near somebody's garbage, there was like a weed whacker sitting behind this like garbage can. So it was on the other side of the road. So I figure I'm gonna go drop off the wife, and then on the way back home, I just hope that it's still there. Now, okay, it is a weed whacker, you know, a 2-stroker. You know, I don't like working on those things, but you know what? All I saw was like orange and like white, so it could be like a steel or an echo. I mean, that might be worth picking up, you know what I mean? Look like a straight shaft too, and I know you boys like the straight shafts. I like the curved ones, you know, because I'm short. It's easier for me to weed whack and also to turn it to the side and do some edging. Right, Boba? You guys remember Boba? Boba's gonna be 5 years old this week. Yeah, that's right. Can you believe it's 5 years already? It's unbelievable. Anyway, I don't really know why I'm talking like this. You know, I kind of like to do accents once in a while. Anyway, we're getting close to that area. Hopefully, I'll be able to pick up this weed whacker. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. All right, we're getting close. As a matter of fact, that's Jason's car right there. Somebody's in it. Looks like he's getting ready to go somewhere. Hi, Jason. Rip. Ooh, an ambulance. And there is the weed whacker. All right, I'm home now. I actually gave my GT2, actually mine was a GT200R. It looked just like this. I don't know what the difference is between a GT200R or a GT2000. Just looking at it real quick, it doesn't look, oh, what the hell? My daughter needs to learn how to park a little better. And I will work on this thing whenever I get around to it. Like I don't have enough to do already, you know? Oh, I want to tell you guys something real quick. I got my Legend inspected recently, and the guy told me that he won't be able to pass this for inspection next year because he said the bottom is all rotted out and putting it on the lift was dangerous. He says that I don't really think it's that bad, but he says that it'll split in half. I'm like, I don't know about that. Anyway, see you later. So it's the next morning. I'm going to get started on something that I need to do. I need to get it out of the way because it's bothering me. But before I do that, I know some of you guys are like, how can you keep us in suspense with this weed whacker? You know, you just picked it up and you're not going to show us what's wrong with it? And I said, you know what? I'm kind of curious myself. I used to have one of these things, but it's a GT200R. And it was like my favorite go-to weed whacker because it always started up, always cut really well, really easy to use. But my friend Andy from Jericho took it, and he never gave it back to me. But you know what? I have lots of weed whackers, so I just let him have it. He likes it. He's an electric guy, so for me to get him to use gas is a big deal, you know. Anyway, so let's just go through this. It's almost exactly the same. I can't really tell the difference about whether it's the same or not. I mean, it looks the same, but there could be small things in it that may be different. So the primer bulb thing seems to work. There's not like a whole lot of gas in there, but there seems to be some sucking of the gas. It seems to be okay. Maybe a little bit of air in there because it's not that much oil gas mix in it. And the way this works is there's just a toggle switch here for on and off. And now it's on, okay? This toggle switch right here, on and off, that's it. So now it's on, I primed it. I forget if this is choke or run. I want to say this is choke because you can feel like a mechanism moving to close things off. So I'm just gonna try to pull start and see what happens. Okay. Okay, so it runs on choke. You hear that little bit of whir, and then you move it to run, and you throttle while you pull it. So once again, somebody just throws away a perfectly running weed whacker. That's the way it is around here. I get lucky sometimes. Actually, these days I get them more than usual. But that's the way this region is. The people that live in my area are rich enough to buy lawn equipment, and if it breaks or doesn't work and they don't know how to fix it or don't want to fix it, they just throw it away and buy another one. It's a throwaway society around here, and but they're in regions near me. There are people that use landscaping, but the predominant population around here, they're rich enough to just throw away things when they don't work, but they're not exactly rich enough to say, oh, I'm gonna get landscapers throughout the whole year, you know. So that's the way it goes. So that's why I find a lot of shit. So good for me. If I move to another area, remember I used to talk about moving to North Carolina or Texas or something like that, you may not find that, because people in those areas may say, oh, if something breaks, I'm going to try to fix it because I really can't afford to just throw it away and just buy another one, you know. So that's the differences in price. Also, the cost of living here in New York is really high. You know, you usually gauge it by a dozen eggs or a gallon of milk or the gas. You can gauge that. So right now, I saw gas regular was $3.55. If it's like $3.10, $3.09 in your area, you know you're not going to get that much for your weed whacker. You know, I'm going to put some string on there. I'll show you how to put the string on this one. It's very unique. So actually, this is different than my 200R. My 200R, you would just cut like a piece of string, maybe that long, and you just stick it in and it stays there. To remove it, you would pull it from the inside out. You know, it didn't have the bump feed. This one has the bump feed, but it looks just like the one that I had, but looks like this one is a rotate or push in, rotate, and it comes out. And I guess you just string it like normal. It's too bad, because I like the other way to do it. It was much easier. So as you saw from time lapse, I tried to put on a easy feed, brand new easy feed kind, where you just slip it in from one side, pull the other end out, and you wind it up to the levels. That was an easy feed type head. I got it from another Badger item that was extra. So I tried to put it on here, but the thread, this is a regular right hand turn to tighten thing. That one is designed with a left hand turn type, so it wouldn't fit the thread. So I just slipped it in and turned it, and it looks like that's how you do it. It was pretty easy, I guess. Looks like I could adjust that a little bit. Now after adjusting the high, you just turn it, you go to highest throttle, you listen to the RPMs. You turn the high one, there's two screws here, one's low, one's high. Low is for the idle speed, you know, when it's idling, and this one is for full throttle. When you do full throttle, you just turn this screw either clockwise or counterclockwise. Counterclockwise is letting it out, so you're allowing more fuel to go through. This one was let out a lot, you know what I mean? So I just turned it a little bit tighter to not allow that much gas. As you saw, it was optimal in the RPM speed. So now, I mean, I was a perfectly running weed whacker, just needed trimmer string, and a little small adjustment on the high-low air fuel mixture screw. Really easy. I have a lot of weed whackers now, but I do like the 2000, this model, you know? It's very easy to use. So maybe I'll keep this and sell the other ones. Anyway, so let's get back to what we were supposed to do the entire time, was to try to weld that little butt on top of the spline part that broke off of my snowmobile spindle. I'm going to try to stick weld it together, smooth it out, and Dremel tool my own spline threads and see if it holds. So this is what I want to do today. This is the ski off of the left-hand ski off my Skidoo Formula MX 2-cylinder Rotex Bombardier engine. When I picked this up, when I pulled it up, I connected it with a chain on the tip of the two skis, and then centered the winch in the center, and I pulled it up those ATV ramps. When I pulled it, it made the two skis go inward, therefore breaking one side of it, which is this. This is a splined spindle that has just went and came right off. How did that sound go? Just like that. And so this piece, it's about, I forget how long it was, but it looks like a foot long, whatever. This thing is $82. There's a guy selling it for $82. I'm not going to spend $82 on this because I don't even know if I'll ever use this thing, you know what I mean? So I'm going to try to fix it. If not, if I can't fix it, I'm going to try to fabricate my own stud, basically spindle, and connect it on there. But I'm going to try to fix this as it is. So basically it needs to be cleaned up. There's a lot of grease around here, obviously. If you look at the condition of that, it's kind of warped a little bit. And of course, when I stick weld this together, I'm going to be ruining the splines. So I'm going to make my own splines with like a Dremel tool and just like grind out the spline, and hopefully it'll match the spline that's on the steering mechanism here. So I'm just going to clean it up right now and get the oil out and the grease and just start tacking them together. I'm going to find the exact space it was, probably like that. The puzzle, it feels right. And just see what we come up with. Here we go. As you guys saw, I welded and then I grinded it down to get rid of the blobs. There were blobs of weld all over there, so obviously this shaft would not be able to fit through in there, right? So I had to do a circular grind all the way around to make sure that I see a straight line going down and that it's not a line and then a blob and then a line, right? You have to grind down each blob to make sure that you have a straight pipe all the way around. So the gaps, as you can see. There is gaps in there, unfortunately, but it's pretty good. I also did weld on the inside as well. So, I don't know, it should hold. Honestly, if this shaft just fit up to there, that top cap can go onto this spline. And I'm not going to Dremel it. I'm just going to see if this shaft fits inside there. And then bang that thing over here. After I line it up, of course, to make sure the steering is straight. I'm just going to try it. I mean, you know, what have I got to lose, right? I'm going to do some spray grease here. Ooh, this is still pretty hot. It's sizzling. Spray a bunch in here. Let it just drip down. Oh, that's really coming down. Let's just see if we can get this shaft in there. So far, so good. Hey! Check that out! Look at that! It goes in! That's what she said! And now I can just bang this on here after I line up the steering. But the jack is in the way. I didn't think about that. I may need to maneuver this around so the jack is like not in the way of me trying to align the steering. Okay, I jacked it up higher, and so now it's not in the way. As you can see, the shaft does go through no problem. Put this down here so it holds it. A wood block. I'm gonna line it up, see if it's straight or not, or close to it. You know what I mean? This right side is lined up pretty close to the railing of the snowmobile. And that looks pretty straight. I'm just going to try it. Actually, that looks like it's not straight. It's hard to tell. I don't want it to be towed out, you know? Because it doesn't, it's not supposed to line up that way. Anything's reversible, but I want to kind of hold this together too. Might have to clamp it somehow. Okay, I use this to just hold it in this area. This seems to be pretty good. I may have to remove this hood. It's in the way. Spread that out. Success, success. With the wood block on the bottom, I opened this up more with a bigger screwdriver, banged it so that this opened up more, allowing the shaft to completely go through the splines. I really had to bang hard with the sledgehammer, but it's in there now. Awesome. So, let's try this out. Get the wood block out of there. I mean, this is on there now. Alright, here we go. There we go. The other side is on the ground, so. But there you go. Are they moving at the same time? Yeah. So, fixed the steering. May need a little adjustment on this side here because it's on the ground. Gotta put this dolly in place. There we go. That should be straight. There you go. They're both straight, see? Well, close enough. There's a little bit of play in between it, but as long as it's straight and I could turn it, it's great. So, I just fixed it without having to buy a new spindle. All with my stick welder. That stick welder works great. So I'm pretty stoked. Got this worked out. I think it'll work. You know, you just have to steer, that's all. This thing was just turning in all directions with this broken. So now that it's nicely welded, I don't know how well it's gonna hold up, but I mean, I was really banging on this and the weld held up, you know what I mean? So I think it's okay. Who knows if we'll ever get to ride this thing anyway. So that was another part of the Skidoo snowmobile. As you guys saw, I didn't show it to you, but I did do a piece in my last video about how I took different metal brackets and just went nuts trying to build a structure here, attaching the hinge back onto the hood so that before it was only on the right hinge, the left hinge was just freely flopping around, not attached to the hood. But now it is. This part here actually is the hinge, and I have attached it to the hood with these brackets. So I may get a new glue gun from another company that I'm gonna demonstrate with, and I'll just put hot glue all over here. I'll find like some plastic piece, cut it out to sort of match that area, put the hot glue on there, you know, and some duct tape, whatever, just to have it somewhat gray, you know what I mean? But at least this is not broken anymore. The thing is not flopping around on its hinge, and it is actually has a structure of a hood, you know what I mean? There's a huge crack over here, so as you can see, I did a little bit of Frankensteining by using zip ties with a couple of drill holes, and you just zip tie it to hold the crack in place, you know, so it is like a Frankenstein kind of thing, but hey, sure beats trying to source a brand new hood, which is, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and we're not going to spend that kind of money on this project, you know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. The more money you sink into a project, the less profit that you make. I don't know whether or not I'm going to sell this eventually. It did run. But now I haven't gotten it to run. But I have to patch up a gas tank, and I also have to get the fuel delivery system working along with the primer mechanism that goes in there. You guys want to donate any parts to it, like if you have another primer system, whatever that you have, send it to the channel. Make your contribution to Mowers and Blowers. I really appreciate it. But it looks like we got this thing worked out here. All we got to do is get it consistently running by just pull starting it easily. It doesn't start easily, it's hard. So, but it does run though, and I think that once it is running and there's snow outside, we can use this. It will be a functioning snowmobile. But anyway, thanks a lot for joining me on today's episode on welding a broken snowmobile ski spindle with a stick welder and a grinder. Worked great. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
Yeah, we don't gotta turn it up.
Oh, shit! Oh, that's great. great. I got that on video.
Why don't you click it in over here?
See you guys next time on Mars and Blowers.